Thank you as always to those of you who are supporting the channel on Patreon, including the big patrons of the month, the Nerd Therapist, and Jack the Loudred. Thank you. Okay, hey Pokemon Masters, Barkeeper Toby here, and let's talk about the newest rival, Hop. Hop, hop, hop. I shouldn't do that, the dog is asleep underneath me. Why isn't my dog Yamper? I love Rolo, but look at this boy. So look, I know what you're all thinking. Hold up, another friendly rival? Again, Barkeeper Toby's gonna hate this. And it's true, in the past, one of my biggest criticisms of the Pokemon games have been the recent rivals. I'm talking about How, I'm talking about Trace. I have gone on the record so many times and said the thing that makes a good rival is that they are opposed to you, that they feel different things to you, that they have different opinions on the way Pokemon are going to be raised, and it's ultimately your philosophy winning over them that makes the rivalry work and makes your ultimate defeat of them that much more satisfying. However, watching the trailer with Hop's introduction and number one, I gotta say, cool character design, I am conflicted here, because again, he seems like a friendly rival. There is a definite big con here, which is in the trailer, you're using Grookey and he's using Sobble, which means he is picking the Pokemon that is weak to your starter. That is frustrating. To me, I'm always looking for that aspect of challenge, that level of challenge in the games. That said, as well as that con, I do want to talk about potentially some of the pros here, and I think the first big one that a lot of you are going to have noted is that Hop is the little brother of Leon, and Leon is the champion of the region. Hold up a second. This kid is going on a journey the same day as you. He has lived his life in the shadow of his big brother, one of the most famous trainers in all of Galar. No, the most famous trainer. The most powerful, the Pokemon League champion. He starts his journey the same day as you. He picks the starter that's weak to yours because he wants the challenge. In many ways, you kind of want to play as Hop. And your job in the game is to crush this guy's dreams. It's kind of brutal. It's kind of brutal. Now, first off, there's been some leaks, and I don't know how true they are or how not true they are. There seems to be a lot of credence to them that this is not your only rival. And I believe they said in the Nintendo Direct that this is one of your rivals. And if you have another rival, presumably they will pick the type that is strong against you. So don't worry about not having a strong rival. But in terms of Hop, in terms of at least his character, I'm very interested by the motivation. He seems to remind me, he seems very similar to Barry. Barry is another kid your age from your hometown who's going on the same adventure as you, and he also lives in the shadow of someone. His dad, Palmer, who is the Battle Tower Tycoon. He is possibly the most powerful character in the whole region. Once again, we have the same story. However, I never felt the kind of that element of it. His dad is super powerful and he's trying to impress his dad element really ever came into Barry's story. And that's because you don't even really find out about who his dad is until after the game is over. It's only once you're in the post game that you discover Barry's dad is this really strong trainer. With How, you know his dad's a really strong trainer, but you never meet the guy. He mentions him offhandedly, but we never meet How's father. I got a theory. I've always got a theory. We also meet How's grandfather, who is the Grand Kahuna of the First Island, which you'd think would be like, oh cool, we're both gonna challenge each other to beat your granddad first. That must be a big stakes thing for you. Except the problem is that Grand Trial Kahuna, he is the end of the tutorial section of the game, essentially. He's not the big challenge of the game. If he was the champion, or if he was just his status as the Elite Four member and you hadn't defeated him already, well then you probably would be a little bit more scared about battling How. But any potential arc that How had kind of began and ended at the beginning of his journey. With someone like Trace, it's even worse, because Trace has no personal attachment to the Pokemon adventure, which is really weird, because he lives in Blue's house. Like, I know in these games it's his house, but actually, where do Red and Blue live in Let's Go? They're from Pallet Town. What? There's only 2 houses in Pallet Town. So hang on, is Red the big brother of the character in Let's Go, and is Blue the big Who live? Where do they live? Did they just live in the same house as you and you never knew it? Point is, Trace could have been involved in the story somehow. He could have been the little brother of the old champion, Blue, but he's not. He's no one. He's not interesting. Blue and Silver are famously some of the best rivals because of the way that they are antagonistic towards you. Blue's grandpa is Professor Oak, the guy who sets you out on your journey, and Blue makes no secrets of the fact that he's going to become the champion, he's going to become the best, and he's going to do it by being hard-willed, and Silver is essentially a criminal. He's a petty criminal, and he steals a Pokemon from the lab. You have definitely a opposed views on the way that you're going to raise your Pokemon, and that makes the rivalry interesting. It gives some tension there, some dynamic. May was a lot less interesting as a rival. You don't even battle her with her final evolution in the original Ruby and Sapphire. Her starter does not get fully evolved. And on top of that, she's not even going for the same things as you. She's just occasionally like, oh, hey, we should battle. She's not going for the same adventure you are. She's just about filling up the Pokedex. Barry, like I said, he's a pretty well-loved rival. And he's not like antagonistic towards you. He's still friendly, but he's definitely got a different way of doing things. His way of doing things are running in, headstrong, hyperactive, where you always arrive on the scene after him. You're a lot more slow-paced and patient, which matches with the Sinnoh region, given those marshes. And my opinion, personal opinion, in Black and White 2, in X and Y, there were too many rivals. It was actually kind of distracting, and I hope it's not the case in Galar. I hope when they say one of your rivals, you only have like one other rival. But Hop appears to be the main one. He's the one that is announced first. And at this current point, I am very 50-50 on the character. I'm going to admit, and again, I like to be vocal when, if there's something I don't like about Pokemon, I always like to, say it. I want you to think I'm just a big old Pokemon fanboy. Although, I mean, I am a fanboy. I like the franchise. I like the games. Don't you? That's why you're watching the video, right? I try to bring up the problems that I have with the games, and a friendly rival is something that has been concerning to me, but it's been done nearly right before with Barry. I think Barry was pretty good. I didn't really feel his motivation for actually beating him until after the game was over. How had the opposite problem, actually. He was quite tough to beat. He had that Raichu that was just ridiculous. The problem is I didn't care about his character because he was just like, yeah, you're gonna do it and let me give you some potions, and also any level of personal attachment or motivation his character had to the story disappeared after the tutorial section of the game because he had already overcome his biggest challenge, his grandfather, who could have been set up to be a much bigger character. That's just my personal opinion. But with Hop, his big brother is the champion. You know you're not going to face him till the end. You will face him when Hop faces him. And you know that the stakes for Hop to take on his brother are much bigger and much deeper rooted than any you have to beat the Pokemon League, and that means he's likely to put up a very formidable kind of fight. At least the motivations are there. Now I just have to hope that the gameplay is there for this character. The other thing he has there is a really great jacket. It's a really great jacket. I just need to make some modifications. Anyway, these are my current thoughts on Hop. I think he's going to be a slightly better Barry. I hope he is as long as he's as difficult as Barry, then I will be all set and I will be completely content. And hey, the difficulty of the trainer doesn't necessarily rely on their starting Pokemon. Like I said, Hal had a pretty amazing Alolan Raichu. Trace had nothing. Trace was, what Pokemon did Trace use? And I remember Barry had a whole roster of powerful Pokemon, so it doesn't all come down to which starter that they pick. But at least in terms of character, I'm pretty happy with Hop. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and of course, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon